You got in some trouble growing up.
I did.
What was that about?
Which trouble? Which trouble? Yes, we all get in trouble.
What about that time you had the skating and
Oh, you're talking about the trouble that I went through when I was 12 years old?
yes,
Oh, yes, perfect. We can talk about that. That's my testimony. So, when I was 12, I had an altercation with sheriffs, and there was some miscommunication about skates and everything. And I was asked to leave the facility because I didn't have any skates on my feet. But the reason why I didn't have skates on was because I was waiting for a pair of skates that they did not have in stock. I was waiting. The manager wanted me to leave because it was word of mouth that you had to be 18 or older to walk around with shoes on, which that was not a legitimate rule. But basically everything got escalated. He got upset that I basically told him I couldn't leave because my mom and dad wasn't there. They was like 30 something minutes away, or 40 I think, at like a gospel concert with my aunt and uncle. And skating was almost like a teenage daycare, so they could just drop us off and go about their business. And that's ultimately what they always did, like on a Friday. They dropped me off, and I usually would have been there from like 7 to 12 a.m. So they like actually didn't have to worry about coming getting me no time soon. So I was already in a deficit with not having my parents nowhere near to come pick me up. So that upset the manager. He got the sheriff over there, and it was basically saying that I was trespassing, although I paid my way to get in there. And again, just circling to what I initially said, this all came about from skates, not having a pair of skates on. So then after that, as I like call my mom and just tell her like, hey, like they want me like to get out of here. I can't be here no more because I don't have these skates on. Next sheriff came in, and then he reached and grabbed my arm aggressively. And because I was afraid and I was a little girl and this is a grown man that I do not know that was touching me, I reacted and I hit him. And then it escalated from there on. And yeah, I got tased, I got arrested, and then I ended up getting charged with disorderly conduct, resisting arrest, and assault on a police officer. Um, and went through all these things. I had to go to court. I was on probation for some time. I think I missed like 3 of my birthdays because of like court and everything. But prayerfully, everything worked out the way it did. I didn't have to go to DYS, which is a juvenile detention center that was in Kentucky, and I would have had to go there for 3 years. But the Lord made a way for me, and all I had to do was community service, and then the charges would drop when I turned 18. That's exactly what happened.
How do you think that shaped your mindset about life in
general? It shaped me because it helped me with learning the importance of forgiveness, and obviously us as believers, like that's vital for us because that situation helped me. I mean, no, that situation brewed a lot of unforgiveness in me. And I just had a lot of hatred for a lot of people because I was just hurt for what was done to me. And I was hurt because a lot of people like wasn't siding with me when they found out what happened to me, and to be young, like obviously you care about friends, you care about what people say and all these things. So just to see that I had a good majority of people that was not on the side with me kind of hurt me a lot. So it was just like I had all these unforgiveness and I was angry all the time. But like I said, after a while, my mom, she put me in counseling. I went there for like 3 years. And that worked. But then the lady that was counseling me, she ended up leaving herself. So I was hurt again because I felt like, oh my gosh, like I went through this traumatic situation. I opened up to this woman that I initially did not want to open up to. She finally got me to a place where I was comfortable, and then she had to go. And that's not no fault to her, but she ended up leaving. So it just put me back into this place where I'm like, man, like, what do I do now? Like, I just got to figure everything out on my own, just, remain at the world. But then, COVID came around. And I know a lot of people was not a fan of COVID, but I am because it sat me down and I had nothing but quiet time. And that was the perfect time for me to spend time with the Lord. And I grew up in a Christian household. I always knew who the Lord was, but I didn't necessarily walk with him. And I always tell people it was one day I was just on YouTube, and at the time it was Michael Todd. He had a Forgiveness University series, and it was just like evident that I had to click on it because I'm like, why would this out of all things pop up on my feed? So I watched it, and from that point on, like forgiveness was the first thing that I was taught, and that's how I started getting into my word. And then when I started reading the word, and then I started learning more about the relationship aspect with Christ, and not more so the religion itself. I then started taking what I was reading and started applying it to the those failed relationships, those failed friendships that I experienced when I was hurt, and I started using that forgiveness, and I just started seeing how it like made reprimands and it helped me. So yeah.
And that probably translates to even the track now, right?
Yeah.
Dealing with coaches.
Oh yeah.
And teammates, it's like you know, you learning that from that experience, kind of float over to that, which is a blessing in God, for real.
Yeah, so now, and I'm not gonna lie, like even in my freshman year of college, like I thought I was completely like made whole from the situation, even though I was just healed from it. I wasn't made whole because I was still like getting easily offended. I was still like, being upset in certain ways, stuff like that, lashing out on my friends and all that, this and the third. But again, like all of that came from because I still had a unforgiveness still rooted in there. So now, like, experience all those things, and that's not to say that I'm a master of everything, but I will say that it does take a lot for me to want to hold a grudge to somebody, even though that's not what I do. I guess you could say because because I experienced the Lord's forgiveness and I know what it feels like and how freeing it is. I'm a